Hello there, I'm Denny with Seattle Pottery Supply. Today we're talking about used kilns and manual kilns. How do we turn those into digital kilns? So if you've recently come into contact with a manual kiln, you want to upgrade it digitally, we're going to talk about the easiest and cheapest way to do that. And the way to do that is we're going to do this with these modular boxes. So a modular box is the digital computer that's wall mounted that you're basically just going to plug your old manual kiln into it, add a thermocouple from that going into the kiln, and then you'll be able to let the computer run the kiln for you. So it makes it trivial in order to upgrade it. So why would you want to do that? Well, one, easier than rewiring all of these boxes, and that's something that you don't want to do. All you really got to do is plug this in, plug the thermocouple in, and you're ready to go. And then another reason that this is a better option is if you have some sort of person who just really likes firing manually, in order to switch it back, all you have to do is unplug the kiln from the computer, unplug the computer, and just plug the kiln back in and run it normally that way. So if you want to use the modular unit, how do you install it? Well, first thing you're going to do is you're going to unplug your old kiln from the wall. You're going to plug the box into the wall, and then like this is, you're going to plug your kiln into the modular box. The next thing that you have to do to install it is the box comes with this thermocouple. There is a hole on the back side of your kiln. On many models of kilns, really old ones don't have it, but more often than not, there'll be a space that's open in the metal to the brick that you can just drill right through the brick in order to install this thermocouple, which will work with a lot of old models. So on this old kiln, we actually have a space that is already put in the metal for drilling a thermocouple into there. And you want to use about a 1/2-inch bit to get into here, and you just want to drill as straight as possible. You're going through the center of the brick as level as you can to the ground. And then once you have that drilled, all you're going to do is take your thermocouple like such, and then just push it in there. Secure them with some screws if you want to, but just so long as it's nice and inside of your kiln, that's what you're looking for. All right, how do we actually go about firing it? Well, the first thing we're going to do is we're going to put in a guard cone, a cone that is basically one higher than what we're firing, and that's going to act as a failsafe, a backup to the digital controller. So we're going to go to the outside of the kiln. We're going to lift up the weighted switch. We're going to push the clasp down, holding on the switch. Then we're going to come in here with the cone as such, and then rest it on the cone. So now the claw is holding onto the weighted switch on the other side, and once this cone melts, the rod will fall down, which will cause the hanging switch to fall down and shut the kiln off. What happens next is I'm going to press this button. So now there's power going to the kiln. Then the next step of there, you just turn all of your switches to high, and then you come over to the computer. And for the purposes of this one, we're gonna do an 06. So I would put an 05 in here. And then what I'd go is I'm gonna go to slow bisque, enter, cone 06, enter. I don't wanna hold, so I'm gonna go 0. Now it's ready to go, and then I'm gonna hit start. Now the computer is gonna run the program, fire the kiln, and then once it reaches temperature, it's gonna shut itself off. And the good part about the guard cone in there, if something happens that is a little bit out of expectation, that guard cone will melt and shut the kiln off that way as well. So it's an extra level of safety for when you're firing an old used kiln.